Okay guys, so today we will be doing some finding the area of different types of polygons. We will be using pretty much everything that we've done in class so far. Keep in mind for the area, to find the area of a triangle, not knowing the height, it is 1/2 a times b times the sine of c. Okay, so in order to use this, we have to have an angle and then the two sides beside it. So like if I have an angle that's 32, I'd have to have the 5 and the 13, so the two sides that create that. Okay, so to find this, we need to be able to do find the area of each triangle in between, and then we can kind of multiply that by the number of triangles that we have. So this, we need to find an angle. So looking at this, it could be kind of confusing, but all the way around, if I think of this like as a circle, there's 360 degrees in a circle. So I can take 360 divided by the number of triangles to get my degree measure that's in there. Okay, so the number of triangles that I created here from the center is 4. So each one of these I know for a fact would be 90 degrees. So I could actually put a right angle there. Okay, and if these are all regular shapes, all of these sides of these triangles, so they make a bunch of isosceles triangles in between. So like if all of these diagonals here are the same, that means that this would be 6, and this would be 6, and this would be 6. Okay, so this actually happens with all of them, where if I will have an isosceles triangle where these two sides will be the same, but also these two angles will be the same. So now I have an angle in here with two sides that create it, so I can just go for one triangle, I can say 1/2 6 times 6 times the sine of 90 would give me my degree measure of one of those. Okay, when I plug that in my calculator, I get 18. Okay, so that is just for one of these triangles, and since there's 4, I would have to multiply that by 4 triangles to get a total of 72. Okay, so step 1, making sure that we can be able to use this formula, because I need to have two sides with an angle in between to get that. Okay. Then, if I have two sides with that angle in between, I should be able to find the area of one of them pretty easily, and then I multiply that by the number of triangles. Okay. So then for this next one here, I should be able to draw in these triangles from here . Okay, then I need to count how many triangles there are. So sometimes I like to mark them. So I'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There are 9 triangles here. Okay, so how would I figure out this degree measure up here? Sometimes I like to redraw it. Okay, I'm going to have an isosceles triangle in there. So then I can do a 360 divided by, because that circle, divided by 9 of those angles would give me one of those angles up there up top, which would be 40 degrees. And I know this is 11 and this is 11. Go ahead and figure out the area of one of those triangles. Okay, I use the two sides, they're both 11, the 40 in the middle, sine 40, that gives you one triangle. So then how would I find the total for the polygon that has 9 sides? Okay, since there are 9 of those triangles, I would multiply my 38.9 times 9. All right. For this next one, we're going to go ahead and make our triangles. We're going to have to create them from the center. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in. These are all isosceles because they're all the same. I'm going to zoom in on one of these triangles. So this would be 15. These are the same. Okay, but I need to figure out what this angle is up here. Okay, I can do 360 from that circle divided by 5, which would give me my 72 up here. Okay, however, now I don't have these two sides. I can't find the area. But what I can do, I should be able to figure out what these angles are down here, which could be helpful. Okay, so since this isosceles falls over, so what I can do is I could take 180 minus 72. 180 minus 72 gives me like a 108. And since these two have to be the same, since it's isosceles, I can divide that by 2 to get my 54 degrees. So that tells me that both of these guys are 54 degrees. Okay? And now, again, there's only two types of problems, and we'll work on this in class the next day as well. But now, I would have an angle with a side opposite. An angle with a side opposite of it. So if I need to figure out what that side is so I can find out the area, I could do my law of sines. So I could do the sine of 72 over 15, which is equal to the sine of 54 over x. Okay, go ahead and solve for what that x would be. Okay, after you cross multiply, you should get something like x is equal to 12.8. Okay, so this is the one that takes a little more time. Persevere. Okay, so for one triangle, maybe I'll scroll this down. Oh, don't really have a ton of space. For one of these triangles, it'd be 1/2. My two sides would be 12.8 times 12.8, the sine of 72. So my area for one triangle would be something like 77.9. But I'd have to multiply that times 5 because there's 5 triangles. And then I would get something like 389.6. Okay, we'll try one more and see how we do here. All right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make my one triangle. Zoom in on that guy. I've got a 12 down here at the bottom. See if we can figure out what this angle measure is. Okay, if I do 360 divided by 8, that should give me a 45 up there. And if I know that these two are the same, I should be able to figure out what each one of these angles, the blue angles, are. So go ahead and figure out what that is. Okay, I should have 180 minus 45 divided by 2 to give me that 67.5 there for each one of these because it's isosceles. Now I need to solve for, using the law of sines, I need to solve for that other side. So solve for x. I should be able to circle angle with the side opposite. Okay, once I set up my equation here, I should be able to cross multiply, get 15.7 for that side. Okay, and for my area for one triangle, I should be able to do 1/2 15.7 times 15.7 sine of my angle in between 45. With that, I should get something like 87.1. And then I need to multiply that by the 8 triangles that I have to get a grand total of 697.2. 697.2. 697.2. All right, guys. We will do D and E in class on Monday, or the next time I see you. But thank you so much for trying. Try to keep it around 10 minutes. Okay? I know it's a lot, but we will get through it, I promise.